What's happening? Thanks for joining me on this Friday. It is much appreciated as always. Quick note here at the top, with the holidays coming up and with my work schedule at 98.5 coming into play here because of those holidays, I'm going to be taping Friday podcasts through January 3rd. So some personal holiday stuff that has to get done. 98.5 fill-in work, going to make it a little bit more hectic, a little bit more difficult to do these Friday shows live over the next few weeks. So Fridays will be recorded through January 3rd. It's not going to change. The content is the content. You just got to pop it on and watch it. No super chats, of course, because it's going to be recorded. But as far as the content that I am going to deliver to you, it's the same old here on the Nick Cattle Show. All right, let's get started. Off the bye week, let's begin with the 30,000-foot view. Over the next month, what do we want to see from the Patriots? What do we need to see from the Patriots? The next 4 weeks are huge for a few individuals. We begin with Jalen Polk. I don't need Jalen Polk to dominate. I don't need Polk to destroy the league. What I need to see is Polk looking like an NFL wide receiver. I need to see him do enough for me to believe that he can be at least a number 3 going into 2025. What I don't want to see, what I can't see, is Jalen Polk getting one catch here and there, ending the season as quietly as it's been through the first 13 games. That would be an abject failure for Elliott Wolf, for Jalen Polk, and it would not help out Drake Maye. So the next 4 weeks, I need to see Polk involved, and I need to see him make some plays. I don't want him playing 75, 80% of his snaps to block for Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. Let him run some routes, get him out there, see if he can get some life going before the end of his rookie season, because it has been downright miserable for Jalen Polk. That's the first guy. Second guy is Caden Wallace. Now, we have to wait and see if Caden is going to play over the next couple of weeks. Gerard Mayo earlier today said he does not expect Wallace to play on Sunday. So it sounds like you have to kick it to next week in Buffalo to see if Caden Wallace will get out there. I think Caden Wallace is a talented guy. I think Wallace can play right tackle. I've talked to friends on the beat, Evan Lazar and Greg Bedard, and those guys believe that Wallace can be at least an adequate right tackle for this football team moving forward, but we've got to see it. Unfortunately, he destroyed his ankle. I mean, the guy's been out for like 9 weeks. I don't know if he broke his ankle. I would imagine so, but who knows? He destroyed his ankle. He's got to get back. If he plays the last 3 games of the season, he replaces Trey Jacobs at right tackle. And if Wallace looks like he's got some potential, that would be a gigantic step in the right direction for this team, because now you go into 2025 believing that Caden Wallace can stabilize right tackle. And if Wallace can stabilize right tackle, Onwenu stabilizes right guard. Ben Brown's been pretty good at center. You still have David Andrews. You still have Jake Andrews. Those guys should be coming back from injury as long as David wants to continue to play football. I think he does. He just signed a contract extension. So you've got Andrews in the middle, maybe Ben Brown as the backup, and then you figure out left guard, left tackle. And you hope that Cole Strange, who's going to be my next guy on this list, he shows you something over the final 4 weeks of this season. Maybe Strange does get kicked to center for 2025. Maybe he doesn't. It depends on Layden Robinson and his improvement. I think Robinson has been okay this year, given the circumstances. And he obviously needs help when it comes to pass protection. A lot of young interior offensive linemen need that help. But if you can go into 2025 after the next 4 weeks feeling pretty good about Caden Wallace, feeling pretty good about Cole Strange, who did play some of his best football before that injury last year, then at least you got 3 or 4 spots figured out on that offensive line. You still need a bona fide left tackle. Garrett Bowles signing an extension with Denver hurts that venture. I'd be looking at Jedrick Wills from Cleveland. He did not have a good year this year. He's been banged up, but he has had issues with the Cleveland front office, the Cleveland coaching staff. I think he's going to walk into free agency, and you have guys on this staff currently for the Patriots that have worked with Wills in the past. Scott Peters, offensive line coach, right? He has worked with Wills. Alex Van Pelt has worked with Wills. But Cole Strange, Caden Wallace, let's see what those two guys do over the final 3 to 4 weeks. Unfortunately, Javon Baker, he got concussed. Somehow, some way, the Patriots did not practice much, right? During the bye week, they had one practice. Javon Baker got concussed somehow. Gerard Mayo would not say how he got concussed, but he is in the concussion protocol. So who knows what's going to happen with Javon Baker? I'm pretty much writing off Baker for the rest of the year. I just don't think he's going to get out there. Polk has been out there. Polk's been getting snaps, so I hold some hope that he can show us something. Another guy that has to prove a lot over the final month is Gerard Mayo. Does he show any improvement after the bye? Has he made any kind of corrections? Does the team look like they have corrected some of those mistakes that they keep making? Or is it the same old, same old? I asked this question because Mike McDonald in Seattle, post-bye week, has been great. And Ted Wynn at The Athletic wrote about that. Here's what Wynn wrote about Mike McDonald. McDonald must have been watching copious film during the Seahawks Week 10 bye, because the Seahawks have emerged as one of the NFL's hottest teams. The catalysts for this 4-game winning streak, per People with the Team, are streamlined communication on defense. Oh, streamlined communication on defense. So Mike McDonald, during the bye week, sat his defense down and talked to them about communicating on the field. And they've been much better doing that since their bye week. Can the Patriots do that? We know communication has been a major issue for the secondary. Did the Patriots take advantage of this bye week and iron out some of those problems like Mike McDonald did in Seattle? It's not a talent problem. We know the Patriots have talent in the secondary. Will we see better communication over the final month? If not, that tells us the Patriots did not take advantage of that time. Covington and Mayo did not take advantage of that window to discuss these kinds of things with their secondary, with that defense. Lineup changes were also made post-Seattle bye. They've also had a dominant stretch from Leonard Williams. Christian Barmore now, right? He's had a few weeks. He gets the bye week. Will we start to see over the final month Barmore take steps towards being the guy that he was in 2023? I hope so. I hope so. Back to Win in The Athletic. Additionally, sources call out efforts to improve the rushing attack. Something else we can look at. How does Ramondre Stevenson look over the final month? Does he look like a new guy after the bye week? Alex Van Pelt talked to the media this week. He said, going back and looking at the film during bye week gave him a better idea as to how good they've been in certain situations with certain personnel groupings, and he wants to lean on those things a little bit more over the final month of this season. So can they get that run game to be consistent with Ramondre? Jackson Smith and Jigma has taken a leap for Seattle. He's winning his one-on-one matchups. And Geno Smith told the media that there are two other reasons for the shift during Sunday's post-game news press conference. He said culture and coaching. Culture and coaching. The vibes are good in Seattle. And I find it fascinating that Geno Smith mentioned culture, because Gerard Mayo, Elliott Wolf, they pounded that word into submission before this season kicked off, right? Culture this, culture that. It's interesting that Mayo recently has kind of talked to a different tune. The Monday before Thanksgiving, Mayo told the media, quote, "I never thought that we would be able to reestablish a culture in year one. It's a process." Wait a minute. The Monday before Thanksgiving, you're now telling us that you never thought that you would be able to reestablish a culture in year one? That's not what you were saying before the season. And furthermore, Mike McDonald in Seattle is a rookie head coach. And Geno Smith is telling us they have established a culture in Seattle. And that culture, to go along with the coaching, has helped Seattle look like a better football team after the bye week. So what do the Patriots look like post-bye week? Big story. Big story. Because Seattle, they took advantage of it. Third and final point from my 30,000-foot view. We have reached the point of the season where we are now watching, and we're also watching Tankathon. We're watching the football games, but we're also keeping an eye on Tankathon. to keep an eye on that draft positioning. There's a lot of bad football teams out there, folks. The difference between, the first pick and the 10th pick, it could end up being a game or two. Now, I want to see this football team win games to establish that culture, to further develop Drake Maye. But I am keeping an eye on Tankathon. I'm watching football. I'm watching Tankathon. All right, let's get to the game now this Sunday. Chris Mason reported that there's a bug in the Patriots locker room. A lot of guys were wearing masks. Have they fully gotten through that bug? I'm not sure. I will say that pretty much everybody was on the practice field today, minus one or two dudes. So it looks like they're mostly through the bug. Fingers crossed. West Coast trip doesn't impact an East Coast to West Coast trip as much as the West Coast to the East Coast, but it's a West Coast trip. How do they handle the travel? Mayo said that they will be flying out today instead of flying out on Saturday because of the time zone change. So how do they react to that? They got blown out in San Francisco earlier in the season. So how do they respond to the West Coast trip? All right, let's get into it. Patriots defense versus the Cardinals offense. Number one for this defense this weekend against the Cardinals is stop the run. Stop the run. This Arizona offense is built off downhill run game. They will run downhill. They will attack you at the line of scrimmage, and they will make life miserable if they are able to run the football consistently. This defensive front for the Patriots has to do everything they possibly could do to slow down James Conner and company. Conner's no joke. He is a really good running back. And this rushing offense for Arizona is 13th in DVOA. They're 12th in success rate, and they're ripping off chunks of yardage. They're tied for second in the league in yards per play when you look at the run game, over 5 yards a play, 5.2. If you're giving up 5 yards on first down, you're in trouble. You can't allow Arizona to operate the way they want to operate. Run the football, create a 2nd and 5, run the football, create a 3rd and 2, and then keep moving those chains. You have to play the run well. And this is an issue because the Patriots have not defended the run consistently. Evan Lazar wrote about that this week at Patriots.com. The Patriots are 28th in run defense DVOA. They're one of the 5 worst run defenses in football. They're 21st in success rate. They're 19th in run stop win rate. So they have not done a good enough job against the run, and we know the Cardinals are going to want to run the football. Defensive line has to show up. Linebackers, second level, Sione Takitaki, you're coming off the bye week. Are you healthier? Can you chip in? Can you play more snaps than we've seen you play without getting hurt? But this run defense has to be good. Second point to me is limit Trey McBride. I know we talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., and I know a lot of Patriots fans wanted the Patriots to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I think those fans no longer feel that way after watching Drake Maye, but I digress. Christian Gonzalez, I would imagine, is going to cover Marvin Harrison Jr. for most of this game. So I want to focus on the other guy, Trey McBride. McBride is a beast. Tight end, very difficult to deal with. And the Patriots haven't always been great against tight ends this year, right? McBride is 6'4". He's 246. He is a big dude. He is a very athletic dude. He can beat coverage. He can beat linebackers. He can beat safeties. Will the Patriots play a cornerback? Will Isaiah Bolden, who got some snaps, actually step up? He's a bigger guy. Will he try to defend Trey McBride? I do not want to see Kyle Duggar on McBride on Sunday. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I don't want Duggar. I don't want a linebacker on Trey McBride. I think Arizona will eat if that's the case, which begs the question, who covers Trey McBride? Are we looking at a cornerback? Are we looking at a linebacker? Are we looking at a safety? That is going to be pivotal in this matchup. All right, I got one more point on the defense before I move to the offense, but before I get to that point, don't forget, you can help build this program. I say it all the time. You can click that like button, click that thumbs up on the YouTube channel. That helps us defeat the algorithm. So give us that thumbs up. We always love those likes. Throw a comment in. How do you feel about this matchup? What would you do to defend Trey McBride? So like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Trying to get to 5,500 subscribers. You can do those three things. They don't take a lot of time at all. They don't cost you any money. Like, comment, and subscribe. Spotify, Apple Pods, my friends over there. You can rate and review. Third and final point on the defense before we move to Drake Maye and the offense. Be aggressive against Kyler Murray. Be aggressive. Be aggressive against Kyler Murray. He's a smaller guy. It was the biggest knock on him during the draft process a few years back, right? He's not a big dude. And he has trouble at times seeing above the trees, seeing through traffic. So the Patriots, they need to be aggressive against Kyler Murray. Smaller frame guy against the pass rush. And similar to the conversation about Anthony Richardson before that Colts game a couple weeks back, you need to trap Kyler Murray because he will run. You need to contain him. If you can keep him in the pocket and get traffic around him and guys in front of him, he will not be nearly as effective. But if you allow him to run around, extend plays, if you allow him to break, contain, and leave the pocket, to scramble for a couple of first downs, you could be in for a long day. You've got to be able to trap him, pressure him, make him feel uncomfortable. Get those big dudes around him. And Kyler Murray has been brutal against the blitz. Again, back to my buddy Evan Lazar. According to Next Gen Stats, Murray ranks dead last, 34 out of 34 quarterbacks, in expected points added when defenses blitz 6 or more defenders. By bringing 6+ rushers, the defense can cover all Murray's escape routes, Lazar writes, while blitzing defensive backs make it harder for Murray to run away from the rush. So maybe some safety blitzes, maybe some corner blitzes. But Murray has statistically been the worst quarterback in football in EPA against defenses that blitz 6 or more guys. The Cardinals' pass protection is pretty good when you look at certain statistics, but not good enough. I mean, they're 12th in facing the blitz, right? So the 12th highest opponent blitz rate. So again, teams, as they get ready to play Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, they see this on film. They see that Murray is uncomfortable with the blitz, especially when you send 6 or more guys. And teams are blitzing the Cardinals at the 12th highest rate because they see that on film. The Patriots, meanwhile, are one of the most blitz-heavy teams in the league. So I would have to imagine that DeMarcus Covington is going to be very aggressive on Sunday. He sees the film. He sees what defenses are doing to bother Kyler Murray. It ends up being in Covington's wheelhouse, Blitz City, USA. So I think we're going to see a good amount of blitz against Kyler Murray on Sunday, trying to make him uncomfortable. The Cardinals are 20th in pass block win rate. They're 25th in time to pressure. It takes less than 2.6 seconds to pressure Kyler Murray this year. So unless you're dealing with quick routes, right? I mean, 2.6 seconds, it's pretty quick. So a lot of that comes from the blitz, I'm sure. So I would anticipate Covington and the Patriots blitzing Kyler Murray a big chunk of the time on Sunday. All right, let's jump to Drake Maye, the offense against this Cardinals defense. The Cardinals are going to play 2 high safeties a lot. It's what they do. They play a ton of cover 2 shell. They love to have those 2 deep safeties. They don't want to give up big plays. So for Drake, he can't force the football down the field. If it's not there, don't force it. He's going to have to beat this Cardinals defense in these short and intermediate areas. That's where he's going to eat this weekend. He's going to have to attack the intermediate. He's going to have to attack the short. And we've seen him do it. We've seen him do it multiple times this year. Did it against the Rams. Did it against the Colts. Drake Maye has been better. I mean, I go back to earlier this year when we talked about Drake Maye and what I would do as a defensive coordinator at the very beginning of him starting as a Patriot, right? I said, I would throw zone at him because he kills man because of his legs. I would throw zone at him and see if he can be patient. Can he pick my defense apart? Because at UNC, he didn't do that. Well, unfortunately for defenses in the NFL, Maye has been much better than anticipated at doing just that, being patient, taking profits, and beating you underneath if he has to. He's going to have to do that again on Sunday. He's going to have to show that patience. He's going to have to beat the Cardinals defense, short, intermediate. Don't force too many throws downfield. Of course, you have to occasionally throw the ball downfield to test the defense, but don't force it. Don't force it. The other thing Arizona does is they play man coverage on third down a decent amount. And that could open things up for Drake Maye's legs. And I did see, I don't want to get too excited, but I did see some video from practice of Drake Maye practicing some zone read stuff. Did the bye week allow Alex Van Pelt and the Patriots to finally cook up some designed runs? Will we see that this weekend? Interesting. But to go back to third down, Arizona is going to play a decent amount of man on third. That opens up the opportunity for Maye to scramble for a few first downs. And if they go with that plan, I think that's exactly what he will do. Speaking of the run game, this should be an opportunity on Sunday to get back on track for Ramondre Stevenson. He has not been the same guy the last few weeks heading into the bye week that he was at the beginning of the year. The first month and a half or so, he was really freaking good. He has slowed down since. But Arizona's run defense, we'll get to it in a minute, it's not very good. And it will open the door for Ramondre to do some damage. Will he do that damage? I don't know. But there should be opportunity. There should also be opportunity for Antonio Gibson. More opportunity than we've seen. If Van Pelt is watching the film like he said he was, and I'm sure he was, if he's, cranking through that film during the bye week and he's looking at what have we done well, one of the things that you've done well is Antonio Gibson. He's played well this year. He has been by far your best running back the last month or so. I want to see Antonio Gibson get the ball more. I've been screaming this since early in the season. Get him the football and get him the football against this Cardinals run defense. They're 15th in yards per carry given up. They're smack dab in the middle of the league in giving up yards per carry. They're 20th. They're 20th in run stop win rate. So just about bottom third of the league. Last week, those same Seattle Seahawks we talked about a little while ago had 176 yards on the ground via 31 carries. You can run against this Cardinals defense. You can do it. Evan Lazar wrote about the Cardinals run defense. Arizona plays out of a light box at the third highest rate in the NFL. More than 74% of the time, this Arizona Cardinals defense has played in a light box. Teams love running against those light boxes in the NFL. And I would imagine if Arizona is going to show a light box against the Patriots 74% of the time, the Patriots are going to look to run against that situation. The Seahawks' explosive runs mostly came by spreading out the Arizona defense, Lazar wrote. So Ramondre, Antonio Gibson, their versatility, their ability to play in those spread formations with one back, there's going to be some openings to run the football this weekend. Third and final point about the offense before I get to a quick prediction along with some other game notes. The offensive line. Who's going to play? Who's going to start? Is there going to be a rotation? Right now, what I want to see, selfishly, is Vidarian Lowe at left tackle, Cole Strange at left guard, Ben Brown at center, Mike Owenu at right guard, Trey Jacobs at right tackle. I think that is your best shot to win up front. I would play Cole Strange. Now, is he ready to take on a full playing load on Sunday? I don't know. If he's not, then I would rotate Layden Robinson with Strange. I would have a rotation. If you can play Strange 1 series, 2 series, 3 series, whatever his body can do, then you do it. but I'm sticking him at left guard. We talked about it earlier in the week. Ben Brown's been good. I don't want to screw around with the chemistry between center and quarterback. I don't want to throw an obstacle in the way of Drake Maye over this final month. He's dealing with enough. Keep Ben Brown at center. Play Cole Strange at left guard. If you want to mess around with Strange at center, do it next preseason, camp season. Have him work on that during the offseason. I would like to see Lowe, Strange / Robinson, Ben Brown, Owenu, and Jacobs on this offensive line because they're going to have to communicate. They're going to have to communicate well against Arizona because Arizona will throw a lot of different creeper. We've talked about it, right? Creeper pressure, simulated pressure. They do a lot of that. They're actually first in football in those creeper schemes. They call more creeper pressure than anybody in the NFL. So they want to play games. They want to play games. They also call a lot of cover zero blitzes. So, and that's relatively speaking. I'm not telling you they're going to call 25 cover zero blitzes on Sunday, but they call a lot of cover zero blitzes. Patriots up front have to be ready. The communication has to be on point. You can't get fooled by creepers and simulated pressures, and you can't screw up a cover zero blitz. Running backs have to be good as well in this game in pass protection to pick up those blitzes. Drake Maye has to be good in reading where those blitzes are coming from. Communication is huge on Sunday. But even though Arizona likes to play games and they can be tricky, their pass rush has not been good this year. Now, of course, we've seen the Patriots. They've struggled with communicating and giving up some pressures off of simulation and off of creeper and some zero blitzes, right? So it all depends on who the matchup is. And the offensive line has had some problems with those things. But Arizona against the rest of the league, they're not getting pressure. They're 25th in football in pressure rate. They're 30th. They're 30th in pass rush win rate. As a matter of fact, the Cardinals don't have a single edge player or interior defensive lineman in the top 20 of pass rush win rate. There's not a single guy on this defensive line that you can point to and say, he's a problem. They just don't have that guy. So they have not gotten pressure. They've tried, right? They're trying to create pressure, much like DeMarcus Covington does with the Patriots by blitzing so much. The Cardinals are trying to create pressure by playing those games in the zero blitzes. If the Pats can pick up some of those games, right, and they can deal with the zero blitz from time to time, Arizona is unlikely to get pressure consistently against Drake Maye. If the offensive line struggles in those categories, then we could have a problem. Arizona's defense is 29th in opponent completion percentage. They're 22nd in opposing yards per pass at 7.4. Cardinals defense has not been very good, folks. You can run on them and you can throw on them as long as you don't, fall victim to some of these pressure games. I would think the Patriots are going to move the football on Sunday. They will have the opportunity to move the football between Drake Maye, Hunter Henry, and Austin Hooper, the running backs as well in the passing game. That could help the Patriots. But they'll have some opportunity. They should move the ball. One guy that they have to look for is Budda Baker. They don't have the dude up front, but they got the dude in the secondary. Budda Baker is a playmaker, and you've got to have an eye on him at all times. So if there's one dude to try to eliminate on this defense, it is Budda Baker. All right, I've got some other notes and a game prediction for you, but first, do me that favor again. Click the like button, throw a comment in here, and don't forget to subscribe. Spotify, Apple Pods, rate, and review. Here are some other notes before I give you my prediction. Arizona turns the football over. They're 15th in giveaways. 15th in giveaways. They have one less giveaway than the Patriots do. So Arizona will give up the football. Kyler Murray has had a rough stretch here. He has 4 interceptions in his last 2 games. The last 2 weeks, Kyler has 4 picks, 2 picks apiece. So will he continue that stretch? Will he give the football to the Patriots on Sunday? I could see him giving it to them at least once. Twice would be fantastic. But Arizona will turn the football over. Can the Patriots finish drives? This has been a question for weeks now, right? The Patriots' red zone offense is not good. It's been brutal the last 3 games. The last 3 games, the Patriots have a 36% red zone touchdown percentage. That stinks. Their red zone offense has stunk. They have to finish some of these drives. And it's going to be even more difficult against Arizona's defense because as I talk about Arizona's defense having holes and the Patriots are going to be able to move the football, are they going to be able to move the football into the end zone? Because Arizona, the one thing that they do defensively is they don't let you score. Arizona has the 5th best red zone defense in football. 5th best. Can Alex Van Pelt crack the code? Maybe that's when you get the whole read option stuff from Drake Maye. But can they finish drives against this particular defense especially? Patriots, they will have an opportunity. They will have an opportunity. Arizona, they're 30th on third down defense. So again, the idea of being able to move the ball between the 20s, the Patriots should be able to do that unless you have chaos up front, which they shouldn't, not against this team. So Arizona's a terrible third down defense. They don't get a lot of pressure. They can be run on. You get the idea. Now, Arizona is difficult to stop. They have the 11th best third down offense in football. So that goes hand in hand with what we talked about earlier. If the Patriots want to have success in this football game defensively, they have to slow down James Conner. They have to slow down this downhill run game. Cardinals will play some pistol formation as well. The Patriots have to limit the run on first and second down. Because if Arizona gets going, they're a good third down offense. You don't want to make it even easier for them. All right, here's my prediction. The line that I saw. Let me see if it moved at all. I don't think it's moved at all, but I will look it up. Let me jump to NFL odds here. I want to make sure that I have the right odds for all of you. I don't think it's moved, but we will see. Taking me a little bit longer than I want here. The anticipation, I'm sure, is killing you. All for nothing because it has not moved. All right, so Arizona is minus 6.5. They're 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5. Patriots coming off that bye. I think both teams will be able to move the football. So I'm going to go with Arizona 23, New England 19. I wouldn't be shocked if both teams score more points than that, but I'm going to go with the Patriots getting the 6.5. I think they can keep this game within 6 points. I think they can hold this game within 6 points because I think their offense is going to move the ball. They might have to kick 4 or 5 field goals, but I think they will do enough offensively to keep this game closer to 6 points than 10 points or 14 points. So I would take the points. I would take the 6.5. Like I always say with this team, do I feel confident about it? Of course not, because they haven't been very good and they have not been coached well defensively. But that's what I think. That's what I'm going with this week. I'm taking the 6.5. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Again, through January 3rd, we're going to tape a lot of these Friday pods because of time constraints and 98.5 obligations. So don't forget about that. Nothing will change as far as content, as I just proved. You're still going to get the content. You're still going to get my breakdowns. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That is crucial to the operation. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we see a good football game on Sunday. Until Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube here. This has been The Nick Cattle Show.